This is Net News Network headline news for Tuesday, May 24th, 2022. On Monday, President Biden said that the country is going through an incredible transition away from fossil fuels via the high gas prices being experienced nationwide. Biden made the statement on gas prices during a joint press conference with Japan Prime Minister Fumio Kishida on Monday. Here's the situation, and when it comes to the gas prices, we're going through an incredible transition that is taking place that, God willing, when it's over, we'll be stronger and the world will be stronger and less resilient on fossil fuels when this is over, Biden said, seemingly to justify or praise those sky-high prices Americans face at the pump. Biden's comments come amid a stretch of record-high gas prices, which the American Automobile Association says is unprecedented. So it's planned, of course. Green New Deal and all that jazz. Afghanistan's lead resistance group, the National Resistance Front, NRF, has one message for the Biden administration. Don't ignore terror threats coming from Afghanistan. The group noted that the mistake was made by the Clinton administration in the lead-up to the 9/11 terror attacks. Our message to the Biden administration is to not make the same mistake the Clinton administration made when they ignored the threat of terrorism in the mid and late 1990s and led to 9/11. The White House has to act fast and adopt a proactive approach to counterterrorism by allowing democratic and anti-terrorist forces like the NRF to liberate Afghanistan, he said. The warning comes as the Taliban is facing a new low-intensity campaign in the north from rebels who in recent weeks have launched attacks against its fighters. So what do they want exactly? Money, of course. And America likes to give lots of money away. The White House claims the Biden administration has no interest in funding anti-Taliban actions in Afghanistan. The U.S. Border Patrol released a suspected terrorist who crossed into the U.S. illegally, and it took ICE 2 weeks to rearrest him. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement didn't rearrest a suspected terrorist who was released in the United States by Border Patrol agents until 2 weeks after he was flagged by the Federal Bureau of Investigations. The suspected terrorist, 35-year-old man, was released into the United States by Border Patrol agents on April 18th near Yuma, Arizona, and given a GPS monitoring device as an alternative to detention, according to a memo from a federal source. It was then flagged by the FBI terrorist screening center on April 21st, which determined it was a match on the terror watch list. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement didn't receive authorization to arrest the individual until May 4th, and he was arrested in Pinellas County, Florida on May 6th. He's now in ICE custody awaiting deportation. We're doing a great job at the border down there, aren't we? A joint military exercise in which Russia and China flew nuclear-capable bombers Tuesday during President Biden's trip to Eastern Asia demonstrates how both sides remain close even as Russia brutalizes Ukraine. The drills, which the official described as the most significant cooperation between the two countries since Russia invaded Ukraine 3 months ago, come as Biden is in Tokyo for the Quad Leaders Summit with the leaders of Japan, India, and Australia. The exercise shows that China is continuing its military cooperation with Russia in the Indo-Pacific, even as Russia brutalizes Ukraine, the official said. It also shows that Russia will stand with China in the East and South China Seas, not with other Indo-Pacific states. The bombers used in the exercise traversed the Sea of Japan and continued through the East China Sea and the Philippine Sea, according to the official. The flight lasted 13 hours. At certain stages of the route, the strategic missile carriers were escorted by F-2 of the South Korean Air Force and F-15 of the Japanese Air Force. Russia also said Tuesday that there were no violations of foreign airspace. A federal judge on Friday temporarily blocked the Biden administration from ending the Title 42 public health order on May 23rd, stopping the administration from a move that had seen significant Republican and Democratic opposition amid fears it would exacerbate the border crisis. Judge Robert Summerhays in the Western District of Louisiana granted a preliminary injunction on the Biden administration's plan to end the order on May 23rd. It was a response to a lawsuit by 24 Republican states led by Arizona, Louisiana, and Missouri. The CDC had announced in April that the order, which has been used since March 2020 to expel a majority of migrants at the southern border due to the COVID-19 pandemic, would expire at the end of May. DHS has acknowledged that they are planning for up to 18,000 people a day should the order be dropped. The New York Attorney General Letitia James today announced that her office is launching investigations into social media companies in connection with the terror attack in Buffalo that claimed 10 lives and wounded 3 individuals. The investigations will look into the social media companies and other online resources that the shooter used to discuss and amplify his intentions and acts to carry out this attack. Specifically, the investigations will focus on those platforms that may have been used to stream, promote, or plan the event, including but not limited to Twitch, 4chan, 8chan, and Discord. The terror attack in Buffalo has once again revealed the depths and danger of the online forums that spread and promote hate, said Attorney General James. The fact that an individual can post detailed plans to commit such an act of hate without consequence and then stream it for the world to see is bone-chilling and unfathomable. As we continue to mourn and honor the lives that were stolen, we are taking serious action to investigate these companies for their roles in this attack. Time and time again, we have seen the real-world devastation that is born of these dangers and hateful platforms, and we are going to do everything in our power to shine a spotlight on this alarming behavior and take action to ensure it never happens again. Well, it's the platforms are not what are hateful. It is some of the people on those platforms, and you should not take away people's ability to post what they want because of a few idiots. And maybe you should deal with the idiots and not blanket policy everybody else. But politicians are always looking for someone else to blame. This goes right along with California wanting to pass a law that will allow parents to sue social media companies for their children being addicted to social media platforms. Are you kidding me? And finally, Congress held a hearing on emergency powers reform on the 17th of May. The arguments made were by a Democrat, surprisingly, the House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jared Nadler. We may agree that the president should be allowed some types of discretion during true emergencies, but an emergency cannot continue in perpetuity. So, to shift the burden of inertia, we must set a time limit for emergencies. A reasonable proposal might require that they automatically expire after 20 days unless Congress ratifies the emergency declaration by law. This type of sunset provision would restore the authority and the responsibility to change the law to where it belongs, in Congress. A similar provision was included in the Protecting Our Democracy Act, which passed the House last year, and I hope the Senate will join us in this important legislation. Our nation's founders left it up to all of us, including those of us in Congress, to act as guardians against assault on our own constitutional order. That means we must reform the National Emergencies Act to ensure the future abuse will not occur. Otherwise, as Senators Church and Mathias warned almost 50 years ago, the unmistakable drift towards a one-person government will continue. Amen, sir. Congress needs to act. This has been Net News Network Headline News. For more, visit netnewsnetwork.net. Thanks for listening.